This part covers all the statistics and general skills that you need to know. If you are new here, this is a series that is covering every basic math that you need to know to do well in your JAMB. Whether you are a physics student, a chemistry student, a commercial student, you are doing economics or accounting, this video is right for you. So we are on topic 23, so you can check the rest of the playlist for the first and the second part. Topic 3, how to find average, median, and mode. This mean is very, very important, especially for science students, and median and mode for economics and accounting students. Now, what is mean? Mean is also called average. Mean is the sum of all values divided by the number of values. So if you are asked to find the mean of any number or the average of any set of numbers, all you have to do is to add all of them and divide it by how many numbers are there. So in this case, you have 12, 15, 9, 18, and 6. So if I are asked to find the average of this now, that will be 12 plus 15 plus 9 plus 18 plus 6. And with this, you can easily find the average of everything. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 numbers there. And this is how you find the average of anything. So when you're doing your physics problem or you're doing chemistry problem, and you need to find the average of any set of given numbers, this is exactly what you need to do. Most times in physics and chemistry, you only need to find the mean or the average of two numbers. So you just have a plus b divided by 2. So this is going to be very easy for you. Now for median, you need to rearrange first before you can find the median. For instance, in this case, you have 1 is the least number there, followed by 3, followed by you have 4, followed by 5, then you have 7, then you have 8, then you have 9. How many numbers do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, and from there, you can easily get the midpoint. So, this number right here is going to be in the middle. And the mode is the one that appears most in the whole thing and all of that. So, that is how you find average of a number. So, the most important thing here is how to find average. Let's move to the next topic. The next topic says range and simple data spread. This one is also very, 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 very important. All you have to do is to pick the large number, the highest value, and subtract the lowest value from it. So look at all this market price. If you want to find the range of this market price, so you are looking for which one is much more consistent. So if this is the range of value, this one is between 200 and 800, so that means that we have a range of 600. This one is between 350 and 600, so that means 600 minus 350. That means that in this place you have a range of 250. So the second one, B, is much more consistent in that case. In this place, you just pick the largest number is 80. The lowest number here is largest number is 90. Lowest is 45. Then you subtract 45 from what? From 90. So these are pretty easy ones. So let's go into the next one. Probability, you need to be able to find probability, like in biology and in commerce, in economics, you need to be able to find probability, and even in mathematics itself. First of all, probability is the number of favorable outcomes divided by total possible outcomes. So you can see here, if a coin is tossed, find the probability that you get a head. Now, it's let me do the first one. A bag has 3 red balls, 5 blue, and 2 green balls. Find probability of picking a blue ball. So in this situation, you can have 3 red, 5 blue, and 2 green. All the total possible outcomes that we can have here, that will be 3 plus 5 plus 2. That gives the total number of the balls that we have here. And that will be what? That will be 10. Total possible outcome is 10 in this place. What is the number of favorable outcomes? Number of favorable outcomes, if I'm picking blue ball, is that it is possible for me to pick 5 blue balls when I'm picking ones. So the probability of picking a blue ball will be 5 divided by 10, and which is the same thing as 1 over 2. So now, what is now the probability of not picking a blue ball? That would just be another 1 over 2, because I will just subtract this 1 over 2 from 1. In the case of a coin that is tossed, you can have head or you can have a tail. So it is 50-50. But let's say you have two coins. You have 2 coins tossed. So all you have to do is that you give in the possible outcome for 2 coins. Then you form this. So this is head, head and tail. This is tail and head, and this is what? Head and head. So these are the number of possible outcomes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So whatever information that you have to do, maybe probability of at least one head. So you say that that will be 1, 2, 3, and that will be 3 over 4. And that's basically what you need to know about probability. Probability is always between 0 and what? And 1. 0 means it is not going to happen. 1 means it is certain that it will happen. And so, like I've applied the probability of something happening, if it is x, then probability of that thing not happening will be 1 minus x. And that's for probability. Now, fractions. How do we deal with fractions? You see, whenever you are dealing with fractions of this nature, as long as there are two things being added, all you have to do is to multiply the denominator. In this case, r1 multiplied by r2. Then when you are done, you just add r1 plus r2 again. But this only works if the numerator, they are all ones. This will only work if the numerators, if they are all what? Ones. So this is going to be your r in this situation. So if you're solving for r in this particular situation, you're going to have r1, r2. So that means that if you're solving for f in this place as well, that will be uv divided by what? U plus v. And you need to understand the reciprocal of a fraction. Like if you are doing 1 over 2 over 3, what does it mean? It simply means 3 over 2. But it is different from 1 over 2 divided by 3. So this is the actual fraction, and this one you are dividing by 3. Whenever you have this will be 1 over 2 times 3, and that will be what? 1 over 6. So get the difference between when you have 1 over 2 over 3, 2 over 3 being the fraction, everything will become 3 over 2. But if you have 1 over 2 divided by 3, that is 1 over 2 is the fraction, then what you're going to have there is 1 over 2 multiplied by 3, and that will be 1 over 6. So you should be able to apply that in any of these situations. Very, very important thing for you to know how you manage your fraction. Now, the next one is inverse of a fraction. Like I've explained there already, the inverse of a fraction is you just find the reciprocal and you flip it. So let's see how that can help us in solving problems. So if you have 3 over 5, the inverse of 3 over 5 or the reciprocal of 3 over 5 is 5 over 3. Just like when you have A divided by B over C, what you are saying is that you are multiplying this thing by the inverse of the fraction. So you just change it from A multiplied by what? A divided by B over C will now become A multiplied by what? A multiplied by C over B. And that is that about that. So in this place, if you want to do 5 divided by 2 over 3, that is just 5 times 3 over 2. Now, all this that I'm teaching you is for you to be able to solve problems without pressing your calculators all the time, because your calculator will always stress you and will always take your time. You don't want your time to be wasted in the exam hall. Now, logarithm. Let's start with the basic logarithm. All these rules, they are very, very important. You need to know all these rules of logarithm. That is, log 10 to base 10 is 1. So, but if the 10 is raised to power n, it will always give you result n. And then log 1 base 10. Log 1 to any base is always going to be 0. Take note of that. Then you have log 10 base 10 is 1. Log a times b is log a plus b. By the way, from that, log a plus b is not going to be the same thing as log a times log b. Take note of that. This is going to be wrong. It's only true when you are going like this. It's not true for the converse. Now, log a over b as well is log a minus log b, as long as b is not equal to 0. Then you have pH. Of course, as science students, you know the formula for your pH. That's negative log of concentration of what? H. By the way, I'm going to teach you how you can find the logarithm of numbers without using calculator as well. But that will be in another video. So you need to subscribe to my channel to always be the first person to have access to such videos. I'm going to teach you how to find logarithm of numbers without using calculator. And I'm going to teach you how to find roots as well without using calculator. So you can take some of this practice problem. Like now, you want to find the pH of this guy. That will be negative log of 1 times 10 raised to power negative 4. So you can hold on to this negative part now. So you have log 1 plus log 10 raised to power minus 4. So what have I applied here? I've applied this rule that says that when you are multiplying, you can split the logarithm. But don't forget, log 1 itself is 0. there's still minus outside anyway. There's still the minus sign. And then this will be plus. So log 10 raised to power minus 4. You've been told already that when you have this guy, the, the result is just going to be equal to the power. So this is going to be plus negative 4. And so if you use the negative sign to multiply now, the result is going to be 4. So the pH is going to be 4 here. That means that that substance is actually acidic. It is acidic because the pH is less than 7. Okay, let's talk about exponential growth and decay. This one you need it when you are calculating half-life and when you are doing population growth as well. So half-life is the time for a quantity to halve. That is the time taken for it to become half of itself. For instance, if something starts from A, it becomes A over 2. Whatever time it took to get to A over 2, that is the half-life of that quantity. So after n half-life, that is if you have gone through so many half-lives, what is going to be your new amount that you have? So that is why the analysis is new amount equals initial, that is the one you started with, multiplied by 1 over 2 raised to power n. So what do I mean by that? For instance, if somebody started from, let's say, at something around 24, and they have undergone 3 half-lives, what will be left of them? That will just be 24 multiplied by 1 over 2 raised to power 3, and that will be 24 multiplied by 1 over 2 raised to power 3 is 8. So this goes here. 8 in 24, that is 3 times. So that means that what will be left of them is going to be 3. And let's test that to confirm. So 24, what it will become is what? Is 12. That is first half-life. Then after 12, another half-life, second one, they will become what? 6. That is half of what they were before. Another half-life from 6, they will become 3. And that is the third half-life. So you can see the way the half-life thing work. And exponential growth, quantity doubles repeatedly over equal time intervals. So it's the opposite of this half-life. And what you do in this case is that instead of 1 over 2, you use the power, or you use the quantity that is, maybe it is being doubled, you have 2. If it is being tripled, you have 3. And if it is increasing exponentially, you have exponential. You use the Euler number to do that, although JAMB will not give you anything of such as well. So let's look at one of these samples here. It says a population of 5,000 doubles every 20 years. Find the population after 40 years. The first thing that is going to matter here is that how many doubling would have happened in this process. Since the doubling happened every 20 years, that means that after 40 years, there would have been doubling twice of this time. And so that means that you have 5,000, then 2 raised to power what? Raised to power 2, multiplied by 2 raised to power 2, and that will be 5,000 multiplied by 4. But if, let's say, in this case now, they're not being doubled, they are being tripled. And they are being tripled every 20 years. So what you have here is 5,000, then 3 raised to power 2 as well. So that is exactly what you need to do. Being tripled every year, the population is tripled every year. So, and by the way, this is different from saying that the population is increasing by 3 times every year. No, the population is not increasing by 3 times every year. Whatever the population is at the moment, they get tripled. That means that every single one of them is capable of replicating into 3. So when they have, other part as well, each of those guys in the group will have the property of replicating into 3 as well. And that is why it will cause the entire population to be tripled all the time. And that is an exponential growth. So you should be able to deal with problems like that. The next one is simple and compound interest. This one, very, very easy and straightforward to go to. For simple interest, all you have to do is what? Principal times rate times time divided by 100. By the way, when you are using your rate, if your rate, like in this place now, you have 8%, once you have already used 8 here, you don't need to put 100 in this place again. So, in fact, you can say principal times rate times time, where rate is always that thing divided by 100. So, either you can use this straightforward, and whenever you have your interest, you need to be able to find maybe the new amount now. So if the principal is, let's say, a particular amount, then your let's say you want to find the new amount now after the interest has been added or has been removed. If the interest has been added, so you have principal plus interest. If the interest has been removed, you have principal minus what? Minus interest. And that is how you find the new amount that you are probably paying or you are collecting, whichever one it is. So know how to do your simple interest properly. And you have compound interest. Compound interest is a process whereby this whole thing is being compounded over time. Of course, we have different versions of compound interest. We have the one that is compounded monthly, compounded annually. But for this particular case, I've used the one compounding annually. And this one gives you an expression to find the amount directly. Then if you now want to find the exact compound interest, just remove principal from what? From the amount, like I've already explained. So let's take a question here. It says, find the amount after investing 50,000 at 5% compound interest for 2 years. So that would just be what? So if you apply that expression here, your principal is 50,000, then 1 plus your rate is 5%. So that's 5 divided by 100, which is 0.05. Then everything will be raised to power what? Will be raised to power 2. So all you have to do here is do 1.05 raised to power 2. Then you multiply that with your what? With your 50,000. So this should be very, very easy for you to go about. You just press that on your calculator. And then to do the square, it means because there's no square on the UTME calculator, you just press 1.05 times 1.05 and that will give you your result. So somebody will say, if I want to do 1.05 raised to power 4, how will I go about that? Will I press this thing 4 times? Yes, you can do that. But if you already got the 1.05 squared, you can just press the value of 1.05 and multiply it twice. That will also give you the same result as well. Now, let us go to the profit and loss now. So for the profit and loss part, we have profit equals selling price minus cost price. I've already explained how you do this percentage and everything. Now, profit means selling minus cost price, and loss is cost price minus selling price. And you can always find the percentage profit by dividing the profit with the cost price. The same thing with percentage loss as well. And markup value is when you express the profit as a percentage of cost price. So this is more into economics and then math, more financial math calculation. But what I'm teaching in this video is majorly how you can do some smart move with your mathematics. So you can, take a screenshot of this. This is just a bonus for the commercial students. Take note of all the things here and make sure you apply them correctly. Make sure you double check your work. So lastly, in this video, the last part of this video is going to cover a very, very technique that I like to teach students. This is a situation whereby if you know the formula, but you don't sort of know how to apply things, you can substitute back. So I call it back substitution. So substitute each option back into the original formula or equation. Now, so whichever one satisfies the equation is going to be your answer there. So for instance, you have v squared equals to u squared plus 2as. If u equals to 0, a equals to 5, v equals to 20. Then you are looking for your s in this place. So you can easily substitute, at least if you don't know how to solve for s in this kind of situation. If you check the previous videos, but I've already taught you the smart way of doing this by solving for s itself. But if you don't know how to do that, you can just substitute each of these options. This will take you time, but at least in a way, it's going to get the job done. So you just have to be very, very, very careful about that. And then I think there's one last thing about when you have BODMAS. BODMAS, you need to be very, very careful that division and multiplication, they have the same order. Addition and subtraction, they have the same order. The only thing that they consider is that you do them from left to right. Like from this place now, you have to do 4 times 2 first. So 4 times 2 in this case, you are going to have what? 8. And then 8 plus 3 will now give you 11. But you cannot say 3 plus 4, which is 7. Then you now say 7 times 2 is 14. So this is wrong. It's not 14. So take note of how you work with such. For instance, if you have this now, you do 6 plus 2. That is what? That is 8. Then 8 raised to power 2 is 64. Then you now do 64 divided by 4. And that is going to give you 16. So you need to be very, very careful when you're working with stuff like this. From this place, you do 4 plus 2 first, which is 6. Then you do 3 times 6, which is what? 18. Then you can now 18, after getting that 18 from everything here, minus 8 divided by 2. You have to do the division first. 8 divided by 2 is what? Is 4. Then you now do 18 minus 4. And that is going to give you 14. That's going to give you 14. So be very careful when you do your BODMAS. Know what takes precedence. And when you have division and multiplication, you do from left to right. That is, whoever is appearing on the left will be the first one that you do. So for instance, if you have 2 times 3 divided by 6. So that will be 2 times 3 is what? 6. And 6 divided by 6 is equal to what? 1. But if you have, let's say, 6 divided by 3 multiplied by 4. You do 6 divided by 3 first, which will be what? Which is going to be 2 in this case. Then you have 2 times 4. That's going to be 8. And that's how you apply your BODMAS. So pretty much everything you need to know. And yes, I promise you this is the last one. Negative numbers. Some people don't know how to work with negative numbers. First of all, when you have negative number times negative number, you have positive results. Negative times positive, you have negative results. So when you're subtracting a negative number, what does it mean? It means that you are saying 5 minus negative 3. Automatically, when you're subtracting a negative number from a positive number, it means that you are adding those two numbers. So A minus a negative number B, it means I'm actually doing A plus B. So take note of that. Now, so for instance, and then how do you know the order? Minus 20 degrees Celsius is way colder than what? Minus 5 degrees Celsius. So in terms of negative numbers, minus 5 is greater than what? Minus 20. Even though you know that 20 is greater than what? 5. Once you change the sign, then you know that negative 5 is going to be greater than negative 20. And then having this lower temperature means that the body is colder than minus 5 degrees Celsius. A body of minus 5 degrees Celsius is getting closer to being warm than a body of minus 20 degrees Celsius. When you have minus 10 meters per second as your velocity, it means that you are moving in the opposite direction. It doesn't necessarily mean you are decelerating. It just means you are moving in what? Opposite direction. And then, so you can do some of these things here. An object moves minus 15 meters, then plus 25 meters. Find the net displacement. So in this case, you just have to add the two of them, and that is going to be negative 15 plus 25, and that's going to be 10. So that's basically every skill that you need to know. Don't forget to check other parts for some important skills like graph reading, and then how to manipulate your way around fractions and all of that. If this video has been helpful to you, don't forget to click the subscribe, like, and comment. I'll see you in the next one.